You open the app when one corner of your portfolio is deep green. Your hand freezes for half a second, then you hit buy again just to avoid losing the feeling that you are right. Heart racing, eyes glued to the price, rules pushed aside. The root is not in the market. It is in the way you let emotions take the wheel. You mistake discipline for a talent for guessing right, calm for being slow, and principles for missed opportunities. Your portfolio drifts out of its band weights, get distorted, and every new drift drags in an even hotter decision than the last. Paper gains become regrets. Losses concentrate. Your faith in yourself wears down. The truth is, no one will bring your portfolio back into its band for you, and no one will pay the price of that drift except you. How many times have you held on to a winner just to keep the feeling alive? How many times have you seen the drift and told yourself, I will deal with it tomorrow? Do you want steady results or a lucky story to tell? Do you choose clear responsibility or do you choose to blame the noise? You know you need to step up and own your role. Do not call tops and bottoms. Correct the drift in time. Do not chase emotion. Follow the band you committed to. This path only needs 3 things right down a clear band. Monitor the drift, bring it back to baseline. No frills, no magic, just discipline. Discipline is bringing the portfolio back onto the rails, not trying to guess new rails. When you play your role, volatility becomes background noise, and decisions feel light because a framework already comes first. You choose the path you set. You take responsibility to the end. You stand steady in the noise. Now look straight at why your portfolio keeps drifting out of its band, so you start from the cause before talking about any method. Chapter 1, Drifting Out of the Band, because of the Let It Ride mindset. You look at a screen flashing green and feel your heart settle as if risk just evaporated from the room. You smile and for a very brief moment you grant yourself an exemption from the rules you wrote. Everything seems calm. You leave it alone. You believe that is wisdom. You are holding the winner not because of a balanced strategy, but because you are afraid of dropping the feeling that you are right in this moment. That feeling is sweet and fast. It strikes the nerve that craves affirmation, and it makes you forget the target allocation you set. Rising prices bring joy. Joy extends the decision. The decision pushes your portfolio out of its band. Green is not just price. It is a signal that your brain wants a reward, making leave it alone feel more reasonable than any adjustment. When you let emotion lead, the real reason shows up second, while action usually comes first and slips off your principles. You tell yourself a pretty story. You justify yourself. You leave the band. If you keep treating leave it alone as the default wisdom, your portfolio will lump into one corner and volatility will multiply beyond what you expected. If you keep holding because it feels right, every later adjustment will be harder because you have attached your identity to one ticker or one group of assets. You will sleep poorly. You will take reckless shots. You will regret late. Each day, ask, am I holding because of principle or because of a short-term rush? You must look at allocation, not the feeling that is inflating you larger than the facts. You win by identifying the exact force that keeps your finger still over the sell button. When you name that internal pull, you begin to take back the driver's seat over what is happening in your own account. You return to the role of decision maker, not a spectator cheering for the colors on a screen. Have you named the emotion that shows up when your portfolio is blazing green? Are your eyes glued to the price while your allocation is swelling beyond the band? Are you chasing a feeling or are you serving a system you chose? You may catch yourself moving through a tiny familiar chain of behaviors, opening the app more often than usual, staring at the same green corner and ignoring the rest. You breathe shallow. You stretch the chart to make it longer to find one more reason to hold, then you close it as if you have already checked. You tell friends that you are holding long-term, but deep down you know you are holding because you fear losing that short-term winning high. Those small behaviors team up, and they tilt the psychological scale little by little in a way you cannot see in numbers. You think you are calm. In truth, you are sliding the chair so emotion sits closer to your buttons. Do not hold because you fear missing a wave. Hold because it is within the target band you wrote. Do not sell because you fear a loss. Sell because you are restoring balance to your portfolio structure. Do not blow up one corner because it looks good. Keep a reasonable baseline so your mind can breathe. When the standard shifts from feeling to structure, leave it alone, stops being the default safe choice and becomes a question that needs evidence. Pleasure, justification, drift, clarity, standardization, stability. The first two lines are instinct. The last is a decision. You do not need to be aggressive. You need to be clear-eyed enough to name exactly where you are standing. Clear-eyed enough to know how long you have been off the band and because of what. It is tiring to revisit every time you justified yourself. It is frustrating to see yourself repeat one mistake for one familiar reason. No one claps when you admit that emotion has been holding your hand, but that quiet, no applause stretch is what grows you fastest because you shed the illusion of being right thanks to talent. You switch to being right because of rules and your brain learns to cool down when the green tries to talk you into staying one more round. You win by naming the pull, accepting the truth, and then resetting the order of values in your head. You win by letting principle come before story, letting allocation come before feeling, letting structure beat compliments. You win by seeing the band as a protective wall, not a suggestion to renegotiate every time green and red take turns. When winning is defined that way, leave it alone shifts from wise to out of control. How many times have you opened the app just to be comforted by a number that is greener than yesterday? How many times have you called that vision when inside you were only afraid of dropping the feeling of being right? Do you want to keep feeding the feeling, or do you want to feed the calm that can stay with you for a very long time? Look at a very human mechanism. The brain rewards the feeling of winning right away and resists making an adjustment because it fears the letdown. When you know that mechanism is operating in you, you stop believing the pretty excuse that this time longer term is better, and you start testing that line against the specifics of today. The rails here are allocation, not a story. The rails here are the edges of the band, not joy. The rails here are your role, not anyone else's cheer. You must pry one step apart, feeling from reason, one step apart, color from structure, one step apart, story from numbers. Remind yourself daily that the brain is very good at justifying when it wins, but any system grows worse when it is indulged for too long. You win by taking responsibility for the very pull that has kept you leaving it alone all this time. That responsible view does not make you smaller. It makes you lighter because you no longer need to defend a fragile story. You return to defending the structure, and the structure defends you back when volatility tries to pull you into the chase. Do not seek more praise for a decision that may not be healthy. Do not wait for a big drop to admit you have drifted far off the band. Do not call impulsive patience discipline just because you hesitate to move back to the right place. Candor here does not hurt your reputation. It repairs the decision-making nerve that emotion has tugged off course for a while. And once that nerve heals, only then can you truly choose which principles you belong to. Pleasure, justification, drift, that is the natural trajectory if you do not hold the steering wheel of your inner world. Clarity, standardization, stability, that is the trajectory that creates a portfolio owner who can live in peace for many years. You do not need many words to leave the old trajectory. You need a few hard truths in one honest moment with yourself. That moment arrives when you admit I am holding because I am afraid of losing the feeling, rather than saying I am holding because of vision. From there, every second you stay through green will be a conscious second, not a second led by impulse. Will you dare to review each time you left it alone and write one short line what you were afraid of at that moment? Will you dare to name it precisely fear of letdown, fear of missing a wave, fear of being wrong, fear of losing face? Will you dare to admit that when fear leads, your system is only a backdrop for emotion? The answer does not need to be said out loud. It only needs to be loud enough in your own mind so that next time that emotion knows it is being watched. And when emotion knows it is under a light, it shrinks just enough for you to see your way. Do not blame the market for your drift. Own your share in every time you stay too long. Do not use one lucky guess as proof for an entire system. Use consistency as the standard to test each decision. Do not turn your portfolio into a stage for the ego. Keep it a scale that measures the responsibility you chose. You switch the story from I win to the system runs, and from then on, one green corner of the portfolio no longer gets to boss around the rest of your life. That is when you become a better version of yourself than last month. Picture a scale propped unevenly where a single small stone on one side tilts the whole table. Your portfolio is the same. One part bulging because it looks nice can tilt your mental scale, and it will keep tilting if no one notices. When you see that image clearly enough, you will remember that a short-term winning high is a small stone that becomes very heavy when it is placed in the wrong spot. You will remember that leave it alone is not neutral. It is an action that pushes the scale to lean even more. And when you remember that you have already shifted from I am doing nothing to I am deciding even if you have not touched a button. Have you named the emotion that shows up when your portfolio is blazing green? Are your eyes glued to the price while ignoring the allocation? Are you after a feeling or after a system, and are you ready to say it out loud to yourself? When psychology leads, the consequences show up clearly in real results, not in the retelling. A person who talks about vision but lives by the rush will have a very wild emotional graph, while a person who speaks little but understands the band will have a very calm psychological line. You know which curve you want to belong to. You choose deliberate calm. You return the right seat to the reasoning mind you once built. Chapter 2, The Cost of a Concentrated Portfolio. One holding swells like a shadow covering the whole room, while the rest gets pushed to the edge of the table. You look at it and feel safer, but that is only a feeling growing larger than the facts in your head. One corner balloons, the rest fades, the scale tilts hard. Drifting out of the band always turns a short-term edge into concentrated risk, and concentrated risk always turns calm into inner tremors. What used to be a surprising strength becomes a built-in weakness because you let one part of the portfolio define your entire self. The mind tightens, the decisions run hot, the results swing wider. If you keep pretending not to see that shadow, the reversal will hit you right where you are forced to admit the truth. If you keep clinging to the feeling of winning, the bill will pile up inside your habits and will burst when you are least prepared. A drop deep enough, a long sleepless night, a familiar string of excuses. The cost is not only a number, it is the way your brain is taught the wrong lesson that bigger means safer when the truth is the opposite. It pushes you into living by the swings, and every pulse of the market becomes a pulse in your trust in yourself. You watch the market breathe. You forget to breathe. You lose your rhythm. Each day, check the price you would pay if that swollen corner turned the other way on an ordinary day. You must see the consequence before it happens, so the heart does not have to learn by slamming against the ribs. You win by fearing the right thing, not the vague thing a story inflates in your head. Caution does not make you weak. It makes you clear-eyed. Clear-eyed enough to stare at the tilting scale. Can you withstand the fall from the concentrated part? What will you do when the green turns color on the very day you're most tired? Will you abandon a long plan because of a feeling that just started in a few hours? Behavior shifts through tiny moves. You open the app more often, linger longer on one ticker, and ignore the rest. You read more news that confirms you dodge the news that breaks the story you are holding, then call it vision. More confirming news, less opposing news. A portfolio that sees less. The cost also hides in how you handle mistakes. You blame the market, blame the headlines, blame randomness, and forget your part in the decision. You step in late to play the only role that can adjust concentration, and that lateness compounds stress like interest. You hold your breath, you hold your tongue, you hold back the fix. Not blind confidence, but confidence with limits, because limits leave you enough strength to finish the distance you need to go. Not hoping for luck, but accepting discipline, because discipline keeps you on level ground, while luck throws you to the peak and drops you to the pit. Not worshiping one corner, but respecting the whole structure, because structure is what protects you when a story changes color. When the standard shifts from feeling to limits, you begin to hear your own wobble before it becomes the sound of a fall. Whiplash, rash decisions, regret, no limits, reduced drift, durability. One side is reflex. The other side is a choice, and that choice requires you to step up and take responsibility instead of hiding behind a story. You do not need to shout slogans. You need to name exactly where your money and your will are being pulled. Name it to take back the initiative. It is exhausting when the green disappears on a quiet afternoon. It is disheartening when you honor a feeling and do exactly what you did last time. No one claps when you admit you have let the portfolio concentrate for too long. But in that no applause moment, you grow the fastest because you no longer need to defend an illusion. You keep your energy to defend the structure, not the story. You win by looking straight at the bill. Your energy runs dry, your sleep thins, your decisions warp, and your faith in yourself bleeds out drop by drop. You win by treating stability as the asset, not drama as the prize, because stability is what nourishes the things you truly want over the long run. You win by letting smart boredom keep time so volatility no longer gets to lead your life outside the screen. When winning is redefined, deal with it. Tomorrow is no longer a smart choice. It is a trap that stretches out the cost. Do you want steady results or a thrilling story for one weekend night? Have you counted the cost of deal with it tomorrow when everything is heating up? Where do you want your will to stand, on the level ground of calm or on the sloping edge of a feeling? The cost also shows up in how you view other people. When a portfolio is concentrated, you easily believe that anyone who does not do what you do does not understand enough. You forget that knowledge does not protect anyone when limits are erased, and no one is immune to a fall that comes from excess concentration. Confidence swells. Humility shrinks. Mistakes wait. Look at a very clear image, a four-legged table where one leg is screwed higher than the others. The tabletop tilts. A glass will slide, books will topple, and what used to be calm becomes uneasy because one small adjustment was not fixed in time. A portfolio is the same. One leg too high, the whole table leans. Do not attach your identity to a ticker. Attach your honor to being clear-eyed about concentrated risk. Do not chase praise when one corner is bright green. Ask the scale if it is tilting. Do not trade your sleep for a winning high. Trade the winning high for the long sleep of stability. When the words in your head change like that, you hear the warning before the market has to shout. Whiplash, rash decisions, regret that is the familiar chain when you indulge one corner because it looks good. No limits, reduced drift, durability that is the new chain when you are willing to see the bill beyond 1 hour of excitement. The first three drain you. The latter three nourish you. Each day you are voting for one chain with every glance at the screen. You are not forced to follow the first road. You are only forced to face its cost if you choose it. You know where the choice lives. It is tiring when those around you tell winning stories while you talk about limits. It is dull when there are no fireworks, only quiet straight lines. It is silent when instead of jumping, you stand still on your level ground. But that quiet is deliberate, not weak. It pays in solidity that a feeling cannot buy. You become the keeper of your own rhythm. You win by letting stability be bigger than drama, letting limits be bigger than blind confidence, letting structure be bigger than story. You win by valuing peace as a real asset because peace lets you see the road while others only see color. You win by reminding yourself that concentrated risk is always expensive, even when today it happens to look cheap. When those three stand first, you stop paying the bill in thin slices of your self-belief. Can you withstand the fall from the concentrated part? What will you do when the green turns color while you are not clear-headed enough? Do you want results that can live a long time, or a story that merely sounds good? The consequence is not only a number on a screen, it erodes willpower with small fractures that make you afraid to make the right decision on time. Seeing the cost clearly stiffens your inner spine, so no person or thing can shove you to the table's edge with one temporary color. Willpower thins, breath shortens, the future narrows. Another image is just as clear. An over-tightened guitar string gives a bright tone, then snaps at the very moment you think it is finally perfect. A concentrated portfolio is that tight string, and the mind is the instrument that must absorb all the vibration, while the audience only hears a short piece of music. The audience leaves. The resonance stays. You pay the price alone. So name the cost plainly. One swollen part of the portfolio is placing your safety on a weak fulcrum. The stability you want does not live in a straight line going up. It lives in a wide enough plane to carry the rough patches you cannot predict. Feeling can invite. Limits are the insurance. Insurance for your will. From the cost return to the axis of your own responsibility, because only you decide whether one corner gets to influence the whole door to your future. Responsibility does not make the story less beautiful. It makes the story truer, and true is the only foundation for long peace. You know where you need to stand. You choose that spot. You hold it to the end. Chapter 3, you are the keeper of the band. You open the allocation screen in a quiet room, just you, the numbers, and the true position of each part of the portfolio. No one stands behind you to nod or shake a head for you, and that very absence clarifies your role today. A still screen, a clear breath. Responsibility takes shape. No one rebalances the portfolio each day in your place but you, because no one lives with the consequences of each drift but you. When you accept the role of keeper of the band, the heaviest decisions suddenly feel lighter, because they stand on principle, not on emotion. You are the subject. You are the fulcrum. You are the one who signs. If you dodge this role, every fluctuation will pull you like a passenger, and you will lose the right to say enough. If you let someone else decide for you, the results still come back to you, but your will thins because it no longer has the muscle to hold. Lack of initiative, lack of boundaries, lack of trust. Each day ask yourself, have I kept my word to the band, or only to the feeling of wanting to win right now? You must sign your rules because that signature is bigger than any compliment and bigger than any color on the screen. You win by stepping up to take responsibility, naming exactly what you do, and accepting the share of consequences that belongs to you. You return to the center seat of decision, where reason has a chair and emotion has a safe distance to settle down. From that seat, you finally see the road. Have you written the band on paper yet? Have you agreed to let your signature be bigger than a fleeting feeling? Do you want to act or sit and watch inside your own account? Small behaviors always tell the truth. You open the allocation screen before the price screen, and you read the percentages before you read the story. You place your eyes on structure first, then allow yourself to hear the feeling after, the way you lay a foundation before you hang a picture. See the structure first, read the feeling after. Write down the conclusion. Do not blame the market. Own your part in every decision you press. Do not wait for a reminder. Remind yourself with the rules you wrote when you were clear-headed. Do not seek validation from the crowd. Seek alignment with your own principles. When the inner voice changes like that, you step out of the narrator's role and return to the role of the person responsible. Write the rules. Live by them. Bear the consequences. Clear role, clear boundaries, clear actions. That is the structure of an adult in investing, quiet yet solid at every beat. You do not need more lucky charms. You need more honesty with yourself to keep a stable level surface through many seasons. Honesty is the fence. There will be tired days. There will be dull days. There will be days when no one claps for you. But it is exactly those days that test whether you can hold the band when there is no emotional reward left. You stand upright out of respect for principle, not because you wait for anyone's approval. You win by letting the word responsibility come before results, because durable results do not grow from scattered luck. You win by letting right role be larger than right mood, because the right role keeps the system running, while the right mood only soothes one evening. You win by setting limits for yourself so each decision has edges and shores and does not get swept with the wind. When winning is redefined that way, pressure fades and the inner spine stiffens. Have you written the band on paper yet? Do you have the courage to say, "I am wrong," and fix it the moment you see the drift? Do you choose a clear road or a foggy path when the two stand side by side? Cast the mold of your inner voice like this: I control what I do. I take responsibility for what I choose. I respect the band I wrote. That voice does not need to shout because it carries the weight of a signature and the boundary of a principle, so it does not have to argue with emotion. A clear voice, clear boundaries, clear actions. Do not label hesitation as vision. Name it honestly: I'm afraid to correct the mistake before it is too late. Do not label indecision as patience. Name it directly: I am hiding from the responsibility of the keeper of the band. Do not label excuse-making as long-term. Name it plainly: I need to return to the role of coordinating the structure. When the labels are peeled away, you see the truth moving right under your hand. Write the rules. Put them where you can see them. Live by the rules. Clear band, clear edges, clear role. Those are two sets of work that seem dry, yet they save you from many needless rough patches. You do them out of respect for your future, not to fool anyone or to prove anything online. Respect for the future is a durable engine. There will be times when the old voice pulls you back to the old habit. There will be times when a rush of headlines knocks your rhythm off. There will be times when a strong green wants you to loosen the rules. But you have already chosen your role, so the return path shortens with time because the muscle of responsibility grows. Good habits begin to lift you. You win by asking the right question each morning: did I keep my word to the band? You win by writing one honest line each night: what share of today's swings belongs to me? You win by letting the portfolio reflect your stability instead of letting you reflect its turbulence. When those three stand first, you live in a wider space where decisions no longer step into the traps of feeling. Do you agree that responsibility does not take freedom away? It gives the real freedom back to you. Do you see that when the role is clear, the heart is calm, and when the heart is calm, decisions are bright? Are you ready to choose the clear role instead of the foggy lane? If you need an image to remember, think of a chalk line drawn around your yard. You draw it, you know the limits, and everything inside the house stays at peace because the boundaries are clear, not because there is no wind outside. Wind still blows. The wall still stands. The rhythm of life stays calm. Do not wait for an invisible hand to fix the drift for you. Put the pen where the signature is needed and take your share of the work. Do not wait for feelings to cool before you talk about principles. Talk about principles so feelings cool themselves. Do not play the hero after the story. Be the ordinary person in the right role right now. When the language changes, identity changes, and your portfolio changes in a very quiet yet very durable way. Write the band. Sign it. Live it. Remind yourself. Examine yourself. Correct yourself. These are two inner sequences no one sees, yet everyone will see the outcome through your stability. You do not need to claim credit. You only need to hold the role, and the role will hold you when volatility tries to slide you off the level surface. Hold the role to be held. Have you written the band on paper yet? Have you agreed to let your signature be bigger than your feelings? Do you have the courage to say, "I am wrong," and correct it when needed? Responsibility creates new results because it turns principles into actions, and actions into habits that can be expected. A portfolio is steady when its owner is steady, and the owner is steady when the inner voice is stable, truthful, blameless, and unhesitating. You are at the center. You lock in your role today. You keep the band to the end. When responsibility is clear, look across the full 525 band framework to see in concrete terms the wall that will protect you through the long years ahead. Chapter 4, the 525 band framework, how it works. You need a fence that seems boring, but is sturdy enough to keep the portfolio from drifting. Not pretty, but it saves you. It saves you quietly. The 525 band is the fence that keeps the portfolio from drifting because it sets clear drift limits and a clear point of recovery. It does not ask emotion for permission. It does not ask the crowd for approval. It only holds the structure. If you lack a fence, volatility will pull you from one story to another and blur the original goal. If you lack limits, a short-term edge will swell into concentration risk and strike your will when it reverses. You forget the order. You forget the allocation. You forget who you are. Each day, remember the band exists to protect you from the very moments when you are most likely to go soft. You must accept trimming a winner when the drift crosses the limit you wrote while clear-headed. You win by restoring the allocation so structure comes before feeling and keeps a level surface for many years. When you put principle first like that, your breathing gets lighter because a wall takes the wind for you. That wall does not show off, but it works every day. Do you understand how the 5 and the 25 protect you? Do you want a fence, or do you want to gamble wearing a pretty story? Do you trust principle more than feeling when the screen turns bright green on a quiet afternoon? A very simple diagram appears before you target allocation, absolute drift limit, relative drift limit, and a signal that tells you to come back to position. You do not need tangled terms because the philosophy here is to keep it simple enough to execute on your busiest day. Fewer extra details, fewer excuses, fewer chances to slip. Do not chase waves to have a story to tell. Keep the structure so you can live a long time with goals you truly value. Do not maximize the short term by feeling. Optimize the long road by keeping drift small enough to protect willpower. Do not teach the brain to believe in magic. Teach the brain to believe in limits you set when calm. When the measure shifts from excitement to boundaries, you change how you define a good day. Drift limits, trigger the fix, return to target. Simplicity, repetition, discipline. These 2 3-part chains are the spine of the 525 band in normal life without fireworks. You do not need boldness. You need consistency, and consistency only lives on a design with little friction. Low friction goes far. You feel tired when someone brags about a big win. You feel bored when your system answers with intentional plainness. No one claps for repetition, but correct repetition makes you calm because each repeat is proof that the fence has value. You trade glitter for solidity. You win by setting the band as a wall that protects long-term belief from the shoves of today. You win by making back to target allocation more important than guessing one move right that you cannot sustain. You win by believing that smart boredom is the core of stability, not a sign you're falling behind. When winning is defined that way, your heart no longer races with the colors on the screen every afternoon. Do you want a fence or a gamble inside your financial house? Are you ready to accept boredom in exchange for durability? Have you seen how structure helps when you are tired, distracted, and no one is praising you? See the band as a chalk line around the yard, not a rope that ties your hands because the line gives you room to play without falling out. See the band as an anchor line that holds the boat near shore when a sudden swell hits so you can prepare before going far. One clear line, one firm anchor, one calm mind. You do not need to know the next thing in advance. You need to know what you will do when you touch a boundary you already set. You do not need to argue with the crowd. You need to speak with the principles you already signed. You do not need complex words. You need words that are clear enough that the ego cannot interrupt when the green runs high. Through this lens, much of the noise will fall off along the way. Drift limits. Trigger the fix. Return to target. Those are three inner steps before any outer action. Simplicity, repetition, discipline. Those are three qualities you feed each day, so principles are not starving when you need them. Let philosophy go first, so execution does not wrestle with mood each time. When philosophy stands firm, behavior is light. When behavior is light, long days are calm. You feel worn when outside stories invite you to try a shortcut. You feel worn when comparison makes you want to erase the fence in one short afternoon. You feel worn when joy makes you want to loosen the band just to breathe. But being worn out is exactly when the fence proves it was built for you, not for cloudless days. You hold the wall so the wall holds you. You win by treating the band as part of your identity, not as a little trick tacked to the edge of the desk. You win by reminding the brain that consistent is a promise you signed with your future, not a punishment for your present. You win by prioritizing structure over story, so truth has a place whenever feeling tries to crowd in. When these three line up, the 525 band becomes a way of living strong enough to shelter important decisions. Do you trust principles more than passing feelings? Do you want a wall that takes the wind for you, or a wide open window that lets the draft rush in? Do you choose to keep the structure or to tell a story each time the market changes color? The simpler the frame, the surer the execution, because the brain is freed from extra choices that drain willpower over time. You need a wall, not fireworks, because a wall gives you a house to live in, while fireworks give you only a picture to show. A house to live in long, a picture to glance at. You know which one you need. Now move into the concrete practice steps where principle turns into ordinary actions that make no noise but hold the level surface you want for many years. Chapter 5, Setting the Band for Each Asset. You sit with your portfolio, a blank sheet of paper and a pen, calling each asset by name, the way you would call people in your home. You stop looking in a blur. You place each piece where it stands, name the risk it carries, and set the limits it needs so it does not get lost. Name it right, place it right, write the boundary right. Every asset needs a clear target allocation and drift limits specific enough to call you back. No one can do this for you because only you know how much volatility you can bear and what calm you need for the long days. Write it now. Put it in front of you. Do not let it slip from mind. If you keep walking without a band, every adjustment will lean on feeling and on story, not on structure. If you keep eyeballing instead of writing it down, each bout of turbulence will loosen the limit a little more and turn habit into a gap. Habits stretch. Boundaries blur. The portfolio drifts far. Each day, separate core from satellite, the way you would separate a foundation from decorations in a house. Match the band to the risk of each part, so what faces stronger wind gets a wider band and what is steady gets a tighter band. You win by setting the band at the start before emotion has the chance to sit in reason's chair and replace the word principle with maybe. These three lines are an inner instruction, not a wall poster you forget the moment you step outside. You read them again and sign your name. Which assets are core and which are satellite? Do your current bands reflect the risk you can truly handle? Do you write it down so you can audit yourself later, or do you keep everything in your head? Begin with small moves you can do the moment you sit down. Lay out the portfolio, draw 2 columns, core and satellite, and place each holding in the right box. Then write a target allocation for each one plus a drift band with 1 absolute drift limit and 1 relative drift limit to warn you when it starts to slip. Classify clearly. Attach a specific band. Create a place to check. Not one band for all, but a band by nature, because no one wears the same pair of shoes to run laps and to attend a formal dinner. Do not guesstimate to save effort now. Write it clearly to save effort for a long time, because 1 careful pass replaces 10 emergency fixes later. Do not keep everything in your head. Put it on paper so emotion cannot erase it and rewrite it at will. Once the words stand there, you have a clear-minded witness sitting beside you during the stretches when your heart wobbles. Targets, drift limits, notes, core, satellite, clarity. These two three-part sets are a simple frame for every rebalancing decision, plain in style and tough in service. You do not need to memorize much. You only need to memorize these 6 words and post them where your eyes will land. See it to remember, remember it to do. There will be evenings when you are tired and want to deal with it tomorrow while one piece is swelling. There will be moments when you are bored with picking up the pen to write what seems obvious to you. There will be days when no one claps because you refuse to chase one green patch. Exactly then, the already written band saves you from the temporary trap that lasts longer than you think. You stand steady because the wall is already built. You win by treating classification as a ritual, not a one-and-done chore. You win by making clear enough the standard, leaving no gap for feeling to slip in and edit the rules you just signed. You win by using the band as the ground, so every step touches a level surface before you turn left or right. When winning is defined that way, one handwritten page on the desk is worth more than 100 rallying cries on a screen. Are you choosing simplicity or complexity for yourself? Do you set limits before emotion shows up? Do you want a system that can live or a story that is fun to tell? Now, for the concrete picture, you can imagine like organizing drawers. Each drawer holds one asset, and on the lid, there is a label with 3 lines. Target, absolute limit, relative limit. You open a drawer, you see the label, you know exactly what to do, and you no longer have to rummage through memory for a reason to hold or a reason to sell. Labels are clear, drawers have lids. Work has a path. Do not load too much expectation into one box. Spread expectations according to each role so your mind can breathe when the chart changes color. Do not copy someone else's band wholesale. Fit it to your temperament and your tolerance so discipline does not become a burden. Do not loosen the band after a string of happy days. Remember that the band was built to hold through both colors and keep your heartbeat steady. Discipline feels less harsh when it fits. Write the target, write the band, write the reason, compare again, compare next, compare to the end. This is not ceremony. This is a 3-lock deadbolt so a gust of wind does not push the door open the moment you turn your back. A door closed correctly keeps the whole house quiet, and you will not keep running back and forth because of a small noise. Calm because the lock is right. You will meet a small resistance in your head when you classify core versus satellite. Everything feels important and deserves more space than necessary. You will want to widen the band for what is green because it is doing well, and tighten the band for what is red because it deserves caution. That is biased instinct. That is a partial voice. That is why you must write early. You win by setting core rules for durability and few surprises, and satellite rules for controlled experiments that cannot tilt the whole house. You win by giving satellites a wider band than core, but always with a lid so curiosity does not swallow your peace. You win by accepting that not every drawer opens every day, which is the sign of a healthy structure. Calm is not slowness. Calm is having something stand guard with you. Do you dare to write why each band exists? Do you dare to cross out a band when it is only a pretty excuse for feeling? Do you dare to ask what price will I pay if I am wrong before you sign again? Here is another easy image. Treat each band like a safety line when you are climbing a low wall. The rope does not block your step. It simply prevents a long slide when your hand slips, and it lets you try a new move while still getting home. Try but with a line. Climb but with an anchor. Err but with an edge. Do not use I am used to it as the standard. Use I have written it as the standard because memory is kinder to you than truth. Do not say later about labeling. Label it now so tomorrow you have something to lean on when your mood changes. Do not change labels with the wind. Change labels when the data demands it and the reasons are fully written. Respect the written word as you would respect the teacher who helped you stand up. Clear targets, clear bands, clear reasons, clear core, clear satellite, clear roles. When these 6 clears are present, you see the portfolio the way you see a house plan, which are the pillars, which are the light walls, and which are the storage spots. You wander less because the blueprint hangs in the living room, visible to anyone who asks, invisible to you when you ask yourself. See it so you do not forget. There will be days when outside stories shake you and tempt you to relabel a satellite drawer as core to dull the pain. There will be days when you hesitate to write because you fear facing an old mistake you defended for too long. There will be days when you want to wipe everything and start over just because you are tired. Do not wipe. Edit the label and write a reason strong enough that when you read it next time you remember. Fix it so you can move on. You win by keeping the structure changing, what must be changed within the band you set, and refusing to let one green streak or one red streak make you tear up the map. You win by reminding yourself that writing bands does not take freedom away. It returns freedom from impulses dressed as persuasion. You win by letting right role lead right action and letting right action lead right feeling instead of the other way you often do. From there, each adjustment becomes an ordinary move, not an argument inside your head. Have you finished sorting core versus satellite? Have you attached both absolute and relative limits to each drawer? Have you written reasons that will still make sense to you 2 weeks from now? A written ban is the base of every decision because it brings the question, what should I do, back to a page instead of letting it get lost in a day of feelings. Without a ban, everything is only a sensation, and sensations will change with the wind, leaving a portfolio with no path home when it drifts offshore. The base must be firm. The boundary must be clear. You must be in charge. Once the bands are clear, you need trigger rules and actions so that when you touch a boundary, you do not argue with yourself. You simply do the right thing. Chapter 6. Triggers and actions to bring it back to the band. The drift alert lights up like a small bell in your head, and your hand naturally reaches for the rules you wrote. You execute according to the target allocation without fanfare because the system decided before emotion could squeeze in. No hesitation, no showboating, no asking emotion for permission. When the band is breached, the action to return must happen like a reflex trained in advance by your signature and your discipline. You let the mind do its job so the muscles follow the rules instead of chasing colors that are changing every second. Role is clear, orders are clear, results are clear. If you stall, emotion will pose 10 new questions and each one will shave off a slice of your willpower. If you show off, you will add extra moves and open the door to errors, then call complexity smart. Willpower thins, movements tangle, the system drifts far. Each day, keep a fixed order of rebalancing priorities so your brain does not have to re-argue from scratch in a noisy day. You must set the source of funds and the size of adjustment that matches the band before any finger touches any button. You win by restoring structure, not by hunting feelings because structure is what carries you through many years. Principle first, emotion after. Portfolio back to standard. What will you do when the drift first touches the boundary and the small bell rings for the first time today? Do you have a clear sequence or is everything still improvised whenever the colors trade places? Do you prioritize restoring structure or do you keep the winning high just to calm the mind for a moment? Begin with 3 small but decisive moves. Look at the true allocation, pick the source of funds, and set the return to band level according to core or satellite. Then switch on clarity mode, rotate when you should rotate, use cash flow when you should use cash flow, and stop the moment you are back inside the band. Look at allocation first. Choose the funding next. Stop when enough is enough. Do not chase price. Chase allocation because allocation is the rail you laid out when you were calm. Do not try to maximize in one shot. Optimize step by step because right steps hold stability better than one untested hard turn. Do not chase anecdotes. Follow rules so the noise stays outside the door while you do your job. You feel less tired because decisions are less impulsive. Detect, decide, execute 3 clean touch points that cover every boundary moment on a busy day. No hesitation, no showboating. By the rule's 3 guardrails that block the old habit of loosening up when green makes your heart surge. You follow these 2 chains like walking along painted lines so your foot does not slip off the level surface. The stripes are painted, the line is drawn, the step is familiar. There will be times you are tired and feel you deserve to leave it alone because today was long and loud. There will be times you feel discouraged by small repeated actions that no one sees while you have kept the band with real care. There will be times you feel a twinge when others brag about a perfect call while you only talk about getting back to target like a routine. But being tired is exactly when character is tested because reflex is proven when there is no praise nearby. You still bring it back because you respect the wall you built. You win by prioritizing rotation when needed using cash flow when it fits and stopping the moment the portfolio is back on shore. You win by keeping the order of operations so each boundary touch is a short beat instead of an argument with yourself. You win by putting compliments aside and handing the wheel back to the rules you sign, not to a winning moment in the driver's seat. Repeat those 3 until they become a natural reflex. Reflex keeps you calm. Do you have ready plans for using cash flow or rotating positions in each context? Do you stop once you are back in the band, or do you want just a little more to stretch the winning feeling? Are you honest enough to click according to core and satellite without relabeling to legitimize a passing desire? Treat the bring back move like a gentle pull of a door to cool the room again, not like a noisy household relocation. You trim exactly what needs trimming so the rest keeps breathing. Then you step away from the screen with your energy intact. The door settles, the wind softens, the rhythm returns. Do not scale up your actions just because yesterday you were right. Keep the size steady so today is right in a repeatable way. Do not play the 5-minute hero. Play the keeper of the band for many years because that is the adult role. Do not extend the action just for a feeling. Stop when the job is done so the system is not worn down by theatrics. You work like an engineer, not like a storyteller. Detect, decide, execute. Write these 3 words at the top of your notepad so the mind is not lured down side roads. No hesitation, no showboating. By the rules, write these 3 along the bottom edge to remind your hand whenever the cursor slides toward temptation. Top and bottom remind you. Left and right remind you. In the middle is a very calm you. The top reminds the mind. The bottom reminds the hand. In the middle, you are steady. There will be times the price screen is dancing, and every outside story persuades you that today is a rare exception worth loosening your grip. There will be times a friend flaunts performance, and you feel like changing priorities instantly without looking at allocation. There will be times a strong green pulls up memories of past perfect calls, inviting you to try the high one more time. But today's exception becomes tomorrow's hole if you use it to excuse breaking the fence. You close the hole with one rule-following click. You win by treating structural recovery as the real goal, while all feelings are only passing noise that leaves no mark. You win by splitting the action into small steps and finishing them in order so each bring back takes one breath, not an entire afternoon. You win by remembering that stability is an asset and discipline is the only way to keep that asset from sliding away with bursts of excitement. Habit is the wall. The wall holds you. You hold the result. What will you do when drift touches the boundary again and the small bell rings on a tired day? Will you get out of the emotion chair and return to the decision chair that bears your name? Are you ready to close the trade once it is enough instead of opening a new door of risk just to stretch the joy? Action standardizes emotion because correct execution turns a noisy day into a quiet day without promises or pep talks. Discipline is a preloaded procedure, not a mood, so you do not have to wait for inspiration to do the right thing in a familiar situation. You bring it back to the band cleanly. You stand still inside. When the move is done, you mark it down to learn. Chapter 7, Logging and Reviewing Decisions. Each time you bring the portfolio back to the band, you open a clean page and write what happened in plain language. You record the cause, the action, and the outcome while your mind is still clear, so the truth is not tinted by memory. Write it now. Write it in clear sentences. Write it for next time. A rebalancing journal keeps you honest with the system because written words force you to face yourself instead of retelling a pretty story. When everything has evidence, emotion loses the right to rewrite history, and right habits have room to grow over time. The evidence sits there. Emotion stands outside. Habit stands firm. If you rely only on memory, you will add seasoning to the role of "I was right" and erode your own ability to learn. If you do not review old mistakes, will dress in new clothes and return making you believe it is a different situation when it is really the same loop. Mistakes return. Confidence thins. The system hollows out. Each day store evidence instead of memory, because memory loves to flatter you while evidence loves to protect you from self-deception. You must separate facts and feelings with two separate sentences, so one says what I did and one says what I saw. You win by learning from the last time with one tight line what I thought, what I did, and what I should change in the rules. From there, the journal becomes a living part of the system, not a display item. Live so you record. Record so you live. Have you written the real reason you corrected the drift? Do you see a repeating pattern in the times you loosened up when green pulled you along? Will you dare to edit one sentence in the rules when the data requires it? Or are you still waiting for a pleasant excuse? Begin with a small habit. When you finish bringing it back to the band, write one entry with the trigger, the action you took in the result versus expectation. Then add one short line about your emotional state before and after the order, plus one takeaway you can use immediately next time. Write right after. Write specific sentences. Write to apply. Do not keep a hazy memory. Write specific details in simple words that anyone can understand, including you on a tired day. Do not praise or blame yourself. Compare the facts with the band you wrote so your signature speaks louder than your story. Do not choose a flattering memory. Choose the bare truth, because truth is what saves you on noisy days. From now on, the journal is a flat mirror, not a flattering mirror. Record, review, adjust. Transparency, consistency, progress. These 2 3-part sets are the heartbeat of the after-action process, turning a dry step into a daily ritual that nourishes the system. You do not need flourish. You need correct repetition, so the correct thing repeats you when you are worn out. Right repetition makes the day easier. There will be days you are tired and want to skip because I can tell at a glance, promising you will write it next time. There will be days you are bored because the journal looks too ordinary with nothing to brag about. There will be days no one claps when you tighten one sentence in the rules. But exactly when no one sees you grow the fastest, because what grows is your inner spine, not outside praise. You write out of respect for your future. You win by staking down facts so every decision has an address you can revisit to see who did what and why. You win by making review a light habit so 1 minute in the mirror avoids hours of self-justification tomorrow. You win by accepting that the journal is part of the engine, not decoration, and engines need steady oil to run long. Victory in quiet, durability in simplicity, correctness in consistency. Are you being honest with yourself, or are you protecting the fragile honor of "I was right" a few times? What did you learn for next time besides the phrase "this time is different," which always arrives right when you want to loosen the rules? Will you dare to write one short line where "I was wrong" and sign under it? Treat each journal entry as a pen mark, tracing your path on an inner map so you know why you just turned left. One stroke for the cause, one stroke for the action, one stroke for the outcome, and one stroke for rule edits if needed. Path is clear. Reason is clear. Adjustments are clear. Do not lay the blame on the market and leave the cause box empty. Write plainly, "I reacted slowly because I fear losing the winning high." Do not flatter yourself with "held firm," but write "return to the band by the rules." Emotions cooled after 2 minutes. Do not use pretty words to hide substance. Use short sentences that name the object, the action, and the impact on allocation. You teach yourself through clarity. Record, review, adjust, first rhythm. Separate feelings, separate facts. Separate story, second rhythm. These two rhythms walk with you like two legs. If one stumbles, the other tilts, so you keep both steady. Steady as insurance. Insurance for willpower. Willpower for the system. It is tiring to admit fault in your own handwriting. It is boring when the lesson repeats in a familiar corner. It is quiet when no one needs to know. You just tightened a sentence in the band. But the words I am correcting are a brick in the foundation, and each brick laid right makes the house stand firm in strong wind. You are calm because the base is thick. You win by writing the trigger as a clear clause, the action as a concrete verb, and the result as its impact on structure. You win by marking the feeling with one focused sentence, then placing it after the facts to keep the order. You win by proposing a rules adjustment when you see a pattern, not waiting for one more painful hit before you fix it. Pattern broken, rules tighten. You are stronger. Have you seen which pattern pushes you out of the band the most, such as loosening the satellite when green runs hard? Are you ready to write a rule tweak that blocks that error? Or do you still want to believe that next time you will be more mindful? Will you cast a vote for your clear-headed self with a signature at the bottom of today's entry? Picture the journal as the black box of each rebalancing flight. It records enough to investigate and not so much that it confuses. When there is a hiccup, you open the black box, read what I did, what I thought, what I saw, then write one fix that goes straight to the core. No long speculation, no winding excuses, no letting the error slip by. Do not treat the journal as a side task. Treat it as part of the machinery that needs regular maintenance so the ride is smooth and long. Do not keep the journal in your head. Keep it where your hand can reach it so every boundary touch can be recorded before memory paints it. Do not write to finish. Write to use because each line must light up when you need a decision on a busy day. Record so you act right. Transparency, consistency, progress that is the standard for each page, not a wall slogan to glance at. Clear, short, easy to use, that is the demand for each sentence, so the you of 1 month from now understands it exactly like day one. Truthful, specific. Timely, that is the material so the lesson stays warm long enough to turn into habit before it cools. Standards lead habits. Habits lead results. Results lead peace. Some will ask why you keep a journal when you could just remember. Some will say you are making life harder with strict rituals. Some will suggest cutting back to ease your mind. But they do not pay the price of a big drift for you, and they do not live your nights of overthinking. You choose a lighter mind through clarity. You win by turning each page into a mirror for instinct, so when instinct appears again, you recognize it in 1 second. You win by letting facts end useless arguments, so your energy goes to correct execution instead of justification. You win by letting the journal speak the truth for you, and you listen so you become a more responsible decision maker than yesterday. Truth does the work. You follow through. The system stays on course. Are you ready to open today's page and write 4 short, hot lines? Are you ready to return to an old page and underline a pattern that just showed its face? Are you ready to edit 1 sentence in the rules and sign instead of promising in your head that I will remember? The journal turns the system into a teacher giving you a guide who is patient, fair, and consistent right inside your home. If you do not record, you repeat, and each repeat costs more than the last because confidence leaks through unhealed scratches. Record to learn. Learn to correct. Correct to be at peace. When the base is in place, you need 1 simple daily ritual. So each day is as light as flipping a page, writing 1 line and closing it with a tidy mind. You keep the band outside the screen by keeping a mirror inside, and that mirror is wiped clean each day with a few honest sentences. Clean mirror, clear image. Clear image, steady hand. Steady hand, long road. Chapter 8, A Ritual for Keeping the Band in a Busy Life. You do not need to live around the price screen. You need a small ritual that blends into your daily rhythm so the portfolio walks the right path on its own. One clear moment with allocation gives you a boundary, and the rest of the day returns to work, family, and breathing. Look at the right thing, touch the right task, leave at the right time. Keeping the band must blend with life, not take over life, because a good system is one you can run on a busy day. A tidy ritual frees you from hundreds of tiny decisions and saves energy for what matters more than money. Less stretching thin, less losing rhythm, less second guessing. If you lack a ritual, noise will flood the screen inside your head and pull you away from the written allocation. If you lack a fixed cadence, every fluctuation becomes a reason to look a bit more, and the band gets loosened in thin slices. The mind tires fast. The hand slows down. The system breaks down. Each day put simplicity first, because simplicity is what can live with you on days full of tasks. You must trust the band more than the breaking news, because the band bears your signature, while breaking news is only a passerby. You win by doing less, but doing it right, so each move feels like flipping a switch instead of starting a complex machine. You keep your energy. You keep your discipline. You keep your peace. Do you have a clear ritual, or do you still let feelings lead whenever one corner glows deep green? Which noises have you cut, and which noises still walk in and out of your home freely? Do you place the band above the mood of the day, or do you still allow the mood to rewrite signed rules? Begin with a very small frame, open the allocation screen, compare against the band and write one short line if there is a meaningful drift. Next, ask one tight question, bring back now or let cash flow restore. Then stop when it is enough for the structure to stand firm. See the structure first. Ask the right question. Stop when enough is enough. Do not chase volatility. Return the band to standard, because the standard is the anchor point when everything else changes color. Do not demand perfection. Demand consistency, because consistency beats perfection in every long race that few endure. Do not seek thrills. Seek steady rhythm, because steady rhythm nourishes both the confidence and the results you want to see. You trade drama for stability. Less noise, fewer moves, fewer errors. Steady enough, clear enough, durable enough. These 2 3-part lines are the reminder card you place where you will see it each day. You do not need long promises. You need one short card so memory does not bend the truth. Short, but sufficient. It is tiring when work piles up. It is dull when the screen has no fireworks. No one claps when you do little, but do it right. Yet those very days prove whether the ritual holds, because a good system must withstand a bad day. You pass bad days with steady rhythm. You win by shutting off a few familiar noise sources before opening the allocation screen, so your eyes land where they should. You win by using a single question: has the band drifted? Then you go back to real life once you know the answer. You win by making a pact with yourself: if it is back inside the band, leave the screen. If not, choose the proper restoration by role. Fewer promises, more discipline. Right roles. Do you let a simple life lift the system, or do you force a complex system to weigh down your life? Do you choose stability or spectacle when both cannot last together? Do you have the courage to say enough and stand up from the emotion chair? Treat the ritual like a chalk line around your yard. You walk inside it so you do not get lost, not to tie your own hands. You step in, you step out, and the line reminds you to return when a story outside nudges your foot half a step off. Line is clear, boundary is gentle, willpower is less tired. Do not open more feeds just because you fear missing out. Close a few doors so the noisy draft stops chilling your mind. Do not turn every fluctuation into a board meeting in your head. Let the band decide for you on matters already written. Do not turn a simple task into a hard one. Keep it a short move, then go back to the life that is waiting. You reduce friction for yourself. Silence the noise, check the band. Do the right thing. Write one line. Step away. Live your life. These 2 3-part lines lower the starting threshold so the habit can feed itself through busy days. You lift the system with neatness, not with grand vows. Neat is strength. There will be days when the mood dips. There will be days when the calendar is packed. There will be days when you want to deal with it tomorrow. That is why the ritual must be short enough to do even when tired without extra willpower. Short to be livable. You win by putting return to ban ahead of every story, treating it as daily mental hygiene. You win by keeping an ultra-short list of allowed inputs. Everything else belongs to the noise zone and stays closed. You win by respecting limits because limits protect the freedom to do things other than investing most of the time. Freedom needs boundaries. Boundaries need discipline. Discipline needs ritual. Will you place the band above today's tastes so tomorrow you still have strength for what truly matters? Will you accept deliberate boredom in exchange for a calm that lasts longer than a quick high? Will you close the noisy door when your hand is already on the handle? Here is an easy image. Treat the band like a count in music. The timekeeper does not need to play the finest solo, only to count steadily so the group does not lose tempo. You are your own timekeeper, so your job is to count steady and give the cue on time while the system carries the melody. Count the beat. Give the cue. Keep the music from breaking. Do not change the ritual each week for novelty's sake. Keep one ritual that can live a long time so the brain does not need to relearn it. Do not praise yourself for doing too much. Praise yourself for doing it right and stopping on time so you do not burn out. Do not punish yourself when tired. Lower the starting threshold so you still do the core thing on a heavy day. You know your priorities. Less noise, fewer moves, fewer errors. That is insurance for willpower in a world of many colors. Steady enough, clear enough, durable enough. That is the energy budget for a person wearing many hats in the same day. You cannot buy peace, but you can build peace with simple gestures repeated long enough. Peace is built by rhythm, rhythm by ritual. Tired because others tell prediction stories. You tell a band story that sounds plain. Bored because there is nothing dramatic to brag about. You gain a quiet day to live. Silent because no one claps. You gain a deep night's sleep. These rewards arrive later, and they are large enough that you do not need extra praise on a busy day. You choose the reward that comes late. You win by setting the order. Silence the noise first. Check the band next. Write one line, then walk away. You win by standardizing the core satellite labels in your head so incoming information falls into the right drawer as it passes by. You win by assigning clear jobs to small habits so they support each other instead of competing for attention. The system lifts the person lifts the day lifts the year. Do you have a clear ritual, or are you still calling impulse freedom? Have you cut the noise, or do you still let noise enter whenever you open the door? Do you choose stability or spectacle, knowing they always charge different prices? The right ritual turns discipline into habit because habit wraps around willpower and gives it a short path through tired days. The right habit keeps you inside the band and keeps the portfolio inside its bounds so your life widens instead of being pinned to a screen. You breathe more evenly, you live more clearly, you last longer. Once the maintenance is steady, you need the right kind of mental fuel so the heart does not empty while the hands still do the right thing. That fuel comes from simplicity, from a few real interests, and from a small identity. I am the keeper of my own band. Keep the identity clear. Keep the count steady. Keep the band strong. Chapter 9. From calling tops and bottoms to correcting drift. You mute the prediction noise, pull your eyes away from glittering promises, and look straight at your own structure. You bring your mind back to the band like sliding a chair back to its place on the floor, so the room is calm and still lived in. Fewer words, less impatience, less self-myth. Durable motivation comes from seeing yourself play the right role, not from guessing right once and telling the story forever. You are here to run a system, not to compete over who touches the top or the bottom faster on a single afternoon. Right roll lasts. Right system calms. Right band endures. If you keep chasing tops and bottoms every day, it turns into a hunt that drains willpower with each breath. If you keep feeding the ego with trophies, each small mistake is magnified in the mirror and pulls you off the path you chose. The mind tires fast. Your steps lose tempo. The portfolio drifts. Each day, remind yourself, I am the keeper of the band, not a weather forecaster. You must choose discipline over drama because drama pays in noise, while discipline pays in peace. You win by looking beyond today's feelings, so tomorrow still has room for what truly matters. Small reminder, large effect. A clearer road ahead. Do you want to be the keeper of a system or the storyteller of a lucky breakover dinner? Are you proudest when you nail a call or when you hold the band on a noisy day? Do you need more noise or less to hear your own voice? Small behaviors will reshape your temperament. You ignore the race to call tops and bottoms, and you return to checking structure the way you check the doorframe before you go out. You close a few loud windows, keep a clean corridor for your eyes to see allocation, and leave the screen when the heart has settled. Less stimulation, less waste, less excuse. Do not hunt for trophies to brag about. Accumulate habits you can repeat on the most tiring day. Do not take shortcuts for a glamorous picture. Take the solid road for a house that still stands years from now. Do not burn energy on predictions. Spend it on protecting the structure from drift. You trade short for long flash, for firmness applause, for calm. Focus, patience, persistence. Speak less, do more, do the right thing. These 2-3-part lines are your mental spine when waves rise, placing you in the right spot to do the right part. Stand in the right spot, do the right part, live at the right pace. It is wearying to hear others tell top and bottom stories like a beautiful clip. It is dull when all you hold is a habit that looks ordinary. No one claps when you leave the screen at the right time. Yet those no fireworks days build inner endurance, so a strong gust cannot knock you off the shore. Endurance beats moments. You win by treating every time you refuse to predict as a savings of willpower, and every correction of drift as a payment to truth. You win by letting structure speak first, feelings speak second, and the story speak very little or not at all. You win by remembering that peace is an asset and that asset grows in the quiet of steady days. Silence is useful. Consistency is valuable. Peace pays. Will you accept deliberate boredom in exchange for durability? Have you chosen yet, or are you still standing between two paths with your eyes pulled by the cheer? Do you want a wide life or a noisy price screen? Picture tops and bottoms as fireworks at night, beautiful bright, quick to fade and leaving smoke. Correcting drift is like sweeping the yard each day. No one praises it, but it keeps the house clean, your mind calm and life livable. Beauty tempts easily. Clean lasts. Calm endures. Do not turn investing into a stage for the ego. Keep it a scale that weighs your honesty with principles. Do not let a few right calls rename you a genius. Let many right rolls grow you into an adult. Do not let noise chase you under a dazzling sky. Let a faint chalk line hold your feet in place. You know who is responsible. Focus, patience, persistence. 3 bricks at the door that everyone must step over to enter. Speak less, do more. Do the right thing 3 words on the wall so you see them even when tired. With that, you do not owe yourself another promise because habit does the job promises pretend to do. The habit runs. The promise rests. You rest in peace. Tired by comparison, bored by quiet, lonely for walking a different way. But the keeper of the band is rewarded with easy evenings, light mornings, and years with fewer hard falls. The reward arrives late and it arrives sure. You win by stepping back from every hot headline, looking straight at the goal and looking past a season of static. You win by naming your role correctly. I am not a prophet. I operate a system with boundaries. You win by letting steadiness define you, not a single lucky strike define your career. Identity clear, boundaries clear, path clear. Do you want to be the keeper of a system or the teller of a lucky tale when one feeds your life and the other feeds your ego? Are you proud when you guess right or when you hold the band on a loud day and sleep like a child that night? Do you need more noise or less to hear your own heartbeat in a room without an audience? Right motivation carries you far because it draws energy from playing your role each day, not from the luck of a single moment. You belong to a repeatable process, not to a windfall written in capital letters, and that very choice straightens your inner spine. You stand still when you should. You move steadily when you must. You grow when few are watching. And when you close the page, you name your new identity in investing. I am the keeper of the band, not a hunter of tops and bottoms. I choose durability over drama. Chapter 10. The Identity of the Keeper of the Band. You look at the allocation table and smile as if you were looking at a familiar map where every road has a name. You know what you will do next because the answer lives in you, not in the newsfeed. Eyes steady, heart steady, steps steady. When the band lives inside, your decisions become light and sure, like sliding a chair back to its place after a meal. You do not need to ask the crowd because you share a private language with your system, and that language is clear enough to act now. Principles clear, limits clear, responsibility clear. If you let emotion rename your identity, each fluctuation will question who you are and chip away at your will. If you cannot hold, I am the keeper of the band, everything returns to a noisy game of predicting wins and losses. The curve breaks again. Confidence thins again. The portfolio drifts again. Each day you live by the band you wrote the way you live by your body's daily rhythm. You must let results carry the name of discipline, not the name of one lucky strike. You win by becoming a steady person, letting consistency speak for you when no one is there to listen. Identity leads the way. The way leads behavior. Behavior leads to peace. Do you notice you have changed when noise passes by and your heart no longer runs after it? Do you trust this new self, the one who sets limits first and sets hopes afterward? Will you protect the band as you would protect yourself because the band is your skeleton in a windy world? Do very small things, but do them consistently. Look at allocation first. Write one short line, then leave the screen when the job is done. Answer invitations with a polite line inside. Thank you, I choose to keep the band. Then return to the part of life that needs you. Gently decline. Gently step away. Gently stay with yourself. Do not tangle with feelings. Speak through rules because rules speak in facts while feelings speak in stories. Do not look for miracles. Look for regularity because regularity sustains the things you want to keep for a long time. Do not perform yourself. Expose the truth because truth is the light that saves you when the room goes dark. From now on, your identity goes first and the story of the day comes after. Band clear. Role clear. Path clear. Fewer errors. Less drift. Fewer regrets. These 2 3-part lines hang like tags on your inner door, so each step in or out remembers who you are. You do not get lost when you know where you're going, because there is a compass sitting in your left pocket. A compass is quiet, but it saves the whole journey. It is tiring when others flaunt a lucky hit that sparkles like fireworks at the end of the street. It is dull when your habit looks ordinary and few notice it. No one claps when you leave the screen at the right time, because you already returned to the band. Yet those drumless days forge your spine so one strong gust does not bend you in half. Endurance is a slow reward and it is sure. You win by placing right band above right mood, placing right role above right person, placing right system above right story. You win by naming each temptation and walking past it like a shop you know you will not buy from. You win by signing under each decision and accepting consequences like an adult in conversation with your future. Adulthood is a signature. A signature is a commitment. A commitment is a straight line. Do you believe you are no longer the old self who chased tops and bottoms and grew tired of running after pretty pictures? Are you ready to extend principle into work, sleep, and relationships where boundaries also deserve respect? Will you choose consistency today so tomorrow you will not need to apologize to yourself for one soft minute? You enter a new day as you step into a house already set in order. Everything is in its place, so there is room for what matters. You watch allocation like watching the water level in the planter, only enough and even neither overflowing nor lacking. Enough you rest. If lacking you add. If excess you trim. Do not use praise as fuel. Use calm as fuel because calm takes you far, while praise only takes you fast. Do not rename the band by the season. Keep one shared language for all weather so the brain is not tired from relearning. Do not ignore details. Let small details do big work because the big is built from many small pieces placed right. To respect structure is to respect yourself. Band clear, roll clear. Path clear, 3 reminders before anything that could pull you off center. Fewer errors, less drift. Fewer regrets, 3 later outcomes unshowy, yet evident in the quality of your day. You do not need to prove. You only need to show up as someone who knows where he is and where he is headed. Show up enough. Act right. Live light on the shoulders. It is weary to feel alone in a crowd that loves dramatic stories and forgets quickly. It is dull when a new identity asks you to skip debates that lead nowhere better. It is silent when you do not add one more sentence to defend the ego. But you tried loud for a very long time and found it brittle, so this time you choose structured calm. Structured calm has its own reward. You win by letting each day remind you of your name, I am the keeper of the band, and letting that line lighten the small choices. You win by treating limits as an anchor line, not as a rope that ties you, because the anchor keeps the boat near shore when the waves rise. You win by focusing on what is in your hands so what is beyond your hands does not crowd out your faith. Focus on what is in hand. Release what is beyond your hand. Keep the tempo in your heart. Will you choose a short explanation to yourself instead of a long speech for others? Will you choose the sure route over the shortcut since every shortcut sends its bill later? Will you rename yourself through small acts repeated long enough? Picture a thin notebook where the words keep the band stand on the first page like an introduction. You open any page and find that voice quiet but firm, guiding you back to level ground when your heart leans. The voice does not shout. The voice does not beg. The voice simply points the way. Do not cling to luck. Cling to a way of living because a way of living stays with you through many seasons. Do not hang yourself on a story. Stand on the ground because the ground bears the lift of the rules you chose. Do not ask the crowd for permission. Ask your conscience because the conscience of a keeper of the band speaks in plain truth. Plain truth helps you sleep deeply. Focus, patience, persistence. 3 qualities you carry like 3 keys that open every door that must open. Speak less, do more. Do the right thing, 3 rhythms that move you forward without any need to perform. Thus your life expands in depth instead of in noise, giving you more room to love, to learn, and to work with substance. Depth nourishes the person. Noise nourishes the ego. You have chosen depth. Do you trust this new self, the one who can stand still when needed and move steadily when required? Will you protect the band as you would protect yourself because no one else bears your consequences when limits are erased? Are you ready to sign under the line, I choose consistency today? A new identity moors you to discipline, and discipline moors you to peace, so the wind of stories no longer carries you far offshore. From here on, the band is the foundation, and you are the responsible party, and responsibility makes your language concise, clear, and warm enough. The foundation is firm, the person is clear, the path is straight. Close with one promise to yourself, short and sturdy, I keep the band, so the band keeps me today, tomorrow, and for many years to come. You have completed the journey from drifting out of the band because of emotion to keeping the band through discipline, and you are still standing firm. You do not need noise to feel progress. You need calm to see the road clearly and to hold your role to the end. See the road clearly. Hold the right role. Keep going quietly. At the core of everything is the identity of the keeper of the band, because when the band lives inside, your decisions become light and sure. You do not chase the story of the day. You walk inside principles measured in years, and your heart has a boundary you can trust. Boundary clear, willpower clear, steps clear. If you abandon the band, prior gains blow away like dry leaves, and you begin again on bare ground. If you abandon the role, each small choice lacks a post to lean on. Large outcomes wobble, and your confidence thins day by day. The drift goes farther. The repair gets harder. The pain lasts longer. Live each day by the band you wrote, without adding when it is green and without cutting when it is red. Let results carry the name of discipline, not the name of a few lucky strikes, so there is space for your heart to rest. You win by becoming a steady person who treats consistency as an asset and treats noise as a passerby. Stability feeds the long years. Consistency sustains the system. Noise moves on. Do you notice you have changed when your eyes check allocation first and only then listen to the story behind it? Do you trust this new self who can say enough and step away from the screen at the right moment? Will you protect the band as you would protect yourself, because no one else will bear the consequences for you? Let the small ritual live with real-life silence. The noise, check the band, do the right thing. Write one line, then step away. Let the journal be a flat mirror so each glance teaches you with no need to perform for anyone. Record what you did. Record what you saw. Record what needs to be fixed. Do not hunt for trophies. Build habits, because habits pay interest in calm, while trophies pay interest in fatigue. Do not take shortcuts. Take the solid road, because the solid road brings you home even when the wind rises. Do not tangle with feelings. Speak in rules so facts go first and story goes second. Principle leads the way. Emotion follows. You hold the center. Focus, patience, persistence. Speak less, do more, do the right thing. These two tricolons are the mental frame hung at your heart's doorway, so each step in or out remembers who you are. You do not need to shout. You need to be consistent. You will go far. It is tiring when the waves are large. It is dull when things feel boring. It is lonely when you differ from the crowd. But in those very places, your discipline matures, because you lean on the wall instead of applause from passers-by. The wall holds you. You win by choosing stability over spectacle structure, over story and truth, over praise. You win by keeping a compass in your left pocket, an anchor line at the dock, and a chalk line around the yard so you do not wander too far. You win by keeping the map in your heart so your eyes stop searching outside for signals about an inside job. The compass guides. The anchor line holds the boat. The chalk line holds your feet. Are you ready to carry the identity of keeper of the band into work, health, and relationships? Are you ready to let consistency define you instead of bursts that blaze and fade quickly? Have you chosen consistency today so tomorrow you do not need to apologize to yourself for one soft minute? Closing this journey, you see one thing clearly. The band is the foundation, and you are responsible for every step. From that firm base, results arrive later. Calm arrives early, and your inner posture stands taller against gusts of wind. When the base is firm, there is calm. With calm, there is durability. With durability, there is depth. Do not hand your life to tops and bottoms. Hand your life to the habit of returning to the right place whenever you drift. Do not ask for miracles each morning. Ask for one small ritual you can do even when tired. Do not wear identity on your lips. Carve identity into your actions and let actions answer every question for you. Action is the signature. A signature is a commitment. A commitment is a straight line. Band clear, roll clear. Path clear, these three travel with you like three keys that open the doors to days worth living. Fewer errors, less drift. Fewer regrets, these three outcomes arrive slowly but surely enough for you to smile at yourself. You know who you are. You know what you will do. You know why you are calm. And now only one short promise to yourself remains: I keep the band, so the band keeps me today, tomorrow, and for many years to come. I sign this promise with small actions repeated and very real each day. Sign with actions. Sign with truth. Sign to be at peace.